On a February night in 1978, 5 men left a college basketball game in Northern California and started the 50-minute drive home. They never made it. 4 days later, their car was found, parked neatly on a mountain road, 70 miles in the wrong direction. It wasn't stuck. It wasn't damaged. There was gas in the tank. The 5 men who got out of that car were healthy, dressed for a gymnasium, not a mountain, and known, every one of them, for doing the same careful things, the same careful way. What happened next made even less sense. Every name has a record. Some records were buried for a reason. This one has been open for almost 50 years. Yuba County, California, February 1978. 5 friends: Ted Weiher, 32, Jack Ma Druga, 30, Bill Sterling, 29, Jackie Hewitt, 24, and Gary Mathias, 25. Working men: a janitor, an Army veteran, a farmhand. Several of them lived with mild intellectual disabilities. Mathias managed a psychiatric condition with medication and family support. None of that made them careless. It made them the opposite. These were men who kept routines the way other people keep promises. They played together on a team called the Gators, and basketball, their families said, was the center of their world. The next morning, they were due at a tournament sponsored by the Special Olympics. They talked about it for weeks. Their uniforms were laid out. On the night of February 24th, they drove Madru Gaz Turquoise Mercury Montego to Chico, an hour north, to watch a college game. Witnesses saw them after, quiet, sober, cheerful. They bought snacks for the drive home, candy bars, a quart of milk. Then they got in the car and pointed it toward home, 50 miles south. The car did not go south. It went east, up the Or-Uville-Quincy Highway, into the Plumas National Forest, into the snow line, 70 miles the wrong way, on a road that led to nothing any of them knew. 4 days later, a forest ranger found the Montego. Here's everything wrong with that car, in one breath. It wasn't stuck. 3 of the 5 could have pushed it free in a minute. It started on the first try. The gas gauge read a quarter full. The tires were fine. And the men who left it unlocked, one window down, the wrappers from their snacks still on the seat. Madruga's family said he would never have left his car like that. Whatever made 5 careful men abandon a working car on a freezing mountain road at night, it made them walk up, into deeper snow, away from the lights of the valley. There was one witness. A man named Joseph Shans had driven up the same road that night and gotten his own car stuck, and then alone in the dark, began suffering a heart attack. Lying in his car around midnight, he saw headlights behind him. Figures, a group of men, he thought, maybe more. He called out for help. The voices went silent. The lights went out. When he finally staggered down the mountain, he assumed they'd simply left him. He was the last person to see them alive. And he could never explain what he'd seen any better than that. The search was massive. Helicopters, snowcats, dogs. It found nothing. The mountain kept the snow, and the snow kept it secret, from February until June. Then the melt came. 19 miles past the car, 19 miles of snowbound road past the point most people could walk, searchers reached a Forest Service trailer. Inside was Ted Weiher, and what the trailer held is the reason this case will never let anyone go. Ted had not died on that walk. He had lived, the evidence said, 8 to 13 weeks. He had lost half his body weight. His feet were frostbitten beyond saving. And when they found him, he was lying on the bunk, covered carefully in 8 sheets. Ted did not wrap himself. Someone tended him. Someone was there and covered him when it was over. Now the part that has never made sense to anyone. In that trailer, in the shed beside it, There was enough Army ration food to keep 5 men alive for a year. Only a fraction was eaten. There were matches, fuel, a propane heater, untouched. Men were starving and freezing in that room, a few feet from everything they needed to survive. And it stayed on the shelves. The rations that were opened had been opened with a military can opener, a soldier's trick. 2 of the 5 had served, Ma, Drew, Ga, and Gary Mathias. Mathias's sneakers were in the trailer. His leather shoes and Ted's boots were gone. Along the road back toward the car, the melt gave up Jack, Ma, Drew, Ga, and Bill Sterling. Lost to the cold on the walk. Jackie Hugh. It was found 2 miles from the trailer. 4 of the 5 accounted for. Gary Mathias, the man whose shoes changed, the man the evidence puts inside that trailer, alive after the others fell, has never been found. Not that summer, not ever. The sheriff's investigators said it plainly at the time. Bizarre as hell, and no theory that holds. Did something on that road frighten them off it? Sean's half-glimpsed figures have fed 50 years of guesses. Did they follow the one man among them who sometimes, off his medication, lost the map of reality, up instead of down? His family has always rejected it. Every answer explains one fact and breaks on another. Careful men, a working car, a warm trailer full of food, and a walk uphill into the dark. So now I want to know what you think. What turns a car around 70 miles the wrong way with 5 men inside who never broke a routine in their lives? And who covered Ted Weiher? Tell me in the comments. I read them. Here's what we're left with. 5 men drive to a basketball game and are, by every account, entirely themselves. The car goes east instead of south, and no one can say why. It's abandoned in working order, and no one can say why. One of them survives for weeks beside food he doesn't eat and heat he doesn't light, and no one can say why. And the man who was there with him walks out of the record entirely. The tournament they were racing home for was played without them. Their families waited by phones that never rang, and some of them are waiting still. The file in Yuba County has a word for this case. Open. 5 men went up a mountain road that led nowhere they knew. 4 came down in June. The 5th is still up there, or he isn't. And after half a century, no one can tell his mother which. That's where the record ends. But it's not the only one. If you want to be here when the next one opens, subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll know the moment it does. A new account goes up every week. And if this case got under your skin, leave a like. It's a small thing, but it's how these stories reach the next person who can't let them go. I'll see you at the next account.